Welcome to Cooking with Johnny G and Clara. Today we're going to make, or between today and tomorrow, we're going to make a loaf of pumpernickel bread. A German style dark grain bread. This is pumpernickel flour right here. It's a little darker. This recipe happens to be a sourdough bread. And we're going to start off with about 2 cups of pumpernickel flour. To that, we're going to add about 1 cup of sourdough starter. Now, sourdough is how we used to leaven bread, the natural way. You know, just grabbing yeast from the air and incorporating it with flour and water, and it's like a living thing. You know, I keep this in the refrigerator. I feed it once a week. And you add this to your bread doughs. It adds flavor. It adds, it's a fermented food basically. It's good for the gut. So I add it to almost all my breads, but this is specifically a sourdough type bread. And we're going to put about 1 cup of this active fed starter in. And then to that, you know, this recipe is very odd. Takes a cup of coffee and a 1/2 cup of finely diced onions. This dough, when you smell it, doesn't smell like it's gonna taste all that great, but it's awesome. It's delicious. Like tonight, it's pretty strong smell. Tomorrow morning, it'll be a really strong smell. But you bake this and it's just absolutely delicious. Now, this is what they call a sponge. You basically mix these base ingredients together, and then we're going to cover it up with some plastic wrap and let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow we'll add the rest of the ingredients. I do add a little bit of honey to this as well. About 1 tablespoon of honey. Well, molasses goes in this tomorrow. Welcome back to Cooking with Johnny G and Clara, day 2 of pumpernickel. So yesterday we put together the pumpernickel flour, a cup of coffee, diced onions, and this is what you got the next day. You can see it's expanded and it's gotten quite puffy. We're gonna take about 4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm weighing it out on a scale here. It's grams, 482 grams, 4 cups. I always prefer weighing it out. It's easier, more accurate. And then to this, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then this is molasses. Going to give it 85 grams of molasses, which is like 1/4 cup. 85 grams, 1/4 cup. Takes 2 teaspoons of salt. And then 1 teaspoon of instant yeast. Put the yeast on the opposite side of the salt. It's possible the salt could kill the yeast. Then to this, we're going to add our sponge. And then we're going to put this on the mixer using a dough hook. Just let that go for about 7 to 10 minutes and then do a little extra kneading on the bench. While that's mixing, you want to prepare your broth form bowl. That's what this is. It's made out of reeds, and it helps the loaf hold its shape while it's rising, and it actually puts a nice little design on it as well. But you want to flour this with the pumpernickel flour so we don't stick to the bowl. Okay, after you're done mixing, you want to take the dough onto the bench for a minute and knead it just a little bit more by hand. Use a little bit of flour if you need to. Kind of pushing down and around just to make a nice ball. And you take that with the smooth side down. And as this rises and expands, this bowl is going to help keep its nice shape. And then you want to get it out of the air. I use a bag. You can use a proof box. You could probably even use your oven, you know, not turned on, or if you have a proofing setting. I tend to use the plastic bag, works fine. Put it in there, put it over there. That helps it not form some kind of skin on the top. Now we're going to let that rise for about close to 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. It should almost double in size. Okay, we've allowed our dough to rise about double in size. It's come up very nice. Make sure this comes off the peel easily. We want to sprinkle a little bit of semolina flour, or you could use cornmeal. The idea here is these are kind of granular. It's going to help that loaf slide right off peel. So definitely get some down the edge here, where the loaf is going to go. Then we're going to very gently turn this out onto the peel. Voila. And then you want to score the loaf prior to putting it in the oven. In this case, I'm going to do just a hatch mark and maybe a couple little things on the side. This allows the loaf to even expand more as it starts to cook. About a ½ inch deep. Before we stick it in the oven, you want to put a little cast iron dish in the bottom of your oven. And we're going to pour about a ½ cup, 3/4 cup of water into there to create some steam. The steam's going to form a nice crust on the bread. Be careful when you do this. Just like that. Beauty. Now that'll cook for about 45 minutes. We're looking for an internal temperature of 200 degrees, which we'll measure with a digital thermometer. So we'll see in a bit. Okay, time has gone off. Check the temperature. What we're looking for is 190 to 200 degrees internal temperature. I use a digital thermometer. That's right at 200. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Then you want to let this cool completely on a rack. Not even a bad idea to wait until the next day to slice into it, but you're not going to be able to do that. It smells just so good. Okay, the bread's pretty much cooled down. Just take a slice into it. It's got a nice crust to it. Beautiful. It's awesome. It's great bread. Toast with a bit of butter. Delicious in the morning. See you next time on Cooking with Johnny G.